Alrighty. Hey, everybody. It's Nicole Bonner at Thrive Chiropractic Coaching, and welcome to our Wednesday workshop. I have an amazing guest here with you today. He is going to knock your boots off. It's Dr. David Scheiner. Hey, David, welcome to Wednesday workshop.
Hey, Nicole, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, man. This is going to be fun. Like I was saying, we typically don't have too many guests on these workshops, but we connected a couple weeks ago on a mutual Facebook post, I think, and I really liked your answer to the question that I posted, and I was hoping that you could share with our audience today, your wisdom and your knowledge on chiropractic philosophy, how that plays a role in opening a practice, and any other wisdom that you would like to share with our students today.
That sounds great. What specific question do you have?
Well, let's see. I mean, why don't we start off where with what you and I were talking about just before we started the show. And I had made a comment. I said, I feel like I've been just working so hard in trying to keep our philosophy in our profession. And you made an interesting statement, and you said, well, the philosophy is never going to leave the profession. So what does that mean? What were you finish your thought on that?
Right. Well, it's similar to how the gravity will never not be a natural law of the universe, and
Mm,
how the sun is always out, even if we don't see it. It
right.
doesn't, even if there's clouds covering the sun, it doesn't mean the sun's not there. And just because the philosophy of chiropractic is not so apparent right now in the profession, it doesn't mean that it's not the foundation of it. It was born that way, and it will always be the foundation of chiropractic. Um, so one of the things in the first book that I wrote in 2009 for chiropractic, called Chiropractic Revealed, it has a lot of the greats in it, from DeMartini to Reggie and Arno and Guy Reekman, and the list goes on and on. Arno said in there that chiropractic, and this was back in 2009, and there are seasons that last for a long time. We have short seasons on the planet, like spring, summer, winter, and fall. And chiropractic, Arno said, chiropractic is in its winter season right now, and it's been in its winter season for a little while, and at least since the early 2000s. And typically things that are in their winter aren't growing, so the leaves fall off in the fall, the trees kind of go into a hibernation, the bears go into the caves, a lot of animals go underground. And Arno said that, chiropractic is in its winter, and it seems that it's still there, although things are thawing out and the ice is melting. And the sense is that we will be entering back into a spring season where the philosophy is going to be more apparent. Not that it's going to come back, because it's always been here.
Right. I got you. Now I understand what you were saying. That's amazing. And I love that analogy. I think it's a great analogy. So, like for people, for control freaks like me, is there anything I can do to control that season change? Like make it happen a little faster?
Well, fortunately, and unfortunately for you, no, there's nothing you can do about it. It's basically practicing acceptance and surrendering to the season, because we can't control the seasons. They're going to happen whether or not we want them to come. Some people love winter. Some people love the heat and humidity of the summer,
Mhm.
whatever it is. So you can try to control it the best that you can, although I would say that it's safe to say that acceptance and gratitude, right? Having gratitude for what chiropractic is, that you and I both love so much.
Yeah.
And it's not about changing the things that are outside of us and having having to make them different than they appear. It's about going within, getting quiet, being in connection with the winter season that chiropractic is in, and then practicing grace and coming out of the winter season into spring. And then there's more that we can do together in the spring and then the summer, right? And in the fall than we can do in the winter. It's coming.
Yes, I mean, it must be inevitable. So you wrote one book in particular I'm really interested in. I just pull it up on my phone. You recently wrote this book, David, starting a chiropractic practice.
Right, this one here, right?
Talk to me about that. That seems super interesting. I'm very interested in this book.
It's a big, thick book. It's based on Reggie Gold's principles of starting a chiropractic practice, a timeless approach to chiropractic success. And you can see that it's timeless because it's all retro. It's got the retro colors, retro vibe, and Reggie's voice, went silent in 2012, 2013, I believe, right around there. And these are his words. So this is all of his wisdom on starting a chiropractic practice, how to get new patients, where to go to get the patients, where to get money to start a practice, how much are the startup costs, how much square feet can you actually start with? Do you have to get an associate position or not? If you don't get an associate position, how do you start your own practice? And it's the role of the chiropractic college to train the student to come out and start their own practice. It's just that they don't have all of the tools, typically, depending on the school, to come out and do that. So this book has over 101 tips and tools and recommendations for not only the student of chiropractic, the recent graduate, and I love this, and the chiropractor who's struggling. There's absolutely no reason on earth, because there's 8 billion people on the planet, and you and I both know, Nicole, we spoke about this when I saw you in Arizona years ago at a seminar, that there are not enough chiropractors on the planet to serve all the people that are on the planet. What Reggie says, and I love it so much in the book, Starting a Chiropractic Practice, and all my books are available on Amazon, is that chiropractors experience burnout. And they experience burnout basically because they're chasing pain. They're chasing people's symptoms. And you and I both know that people's symptoms oftentimes have just as good of a chance going away without chiropractic as they do with it, just because we are here to analyze the spine for the presence of the vertebral subluxation. So he talks, the second half of the book just takes off, and he hammers it home for the student, the recent graduate, and the chiropractor that's struggling, that's looking to right their ship, and get back on track. BJ called it slipping and checking. To just have a thriving practice. And Reggie's in the book says we don't get bored and we don't burn out from pushing on people's spines. We get burned out because we're not getting the results that we promised the patient that we were going to get, which is the relief of their pain. And a lot of time, people's pain is not going away with chiropractic. So they're either going to leave after 8 visits because the pain is still there, or they're going to leave because the pain is gone. The patient, they're going to leave either way. This book talks about how can they stay and stay for life.
David, I love that. As a matter of fact, that was the post that you and I got reconnected on to do this Wednesday workshop, was how do you what do you say to a patient when, or a non-patient, because hopefully your patients know better by the time they become a patient, but what do you say when a non-patient says, hey, can you get rid of my pain, or can you fix my blah de blah,
Yeah.
right? And I loved your answer.
Well, the number one thing you say is, when can you come in? When can you make an appointment for? Is Tuesday good or is Thursday better? Morning or afternoon? And when they get on the books and they come in, do you mind if I share a little bit about?
No, man, that's why I have you on. I want
Oh,
you to
okay. Well,
share like as many nuggets from that book as you're willing to share with my audience.
okay, and I'm going to show it again because people are visual, and it's starting a chiropractic practice. You see Reggie Gold's name up there. It's a timeless approach to chiropractic success. It's on Amazon, and right now it's a bestseller in vocational. In the
Wow.
vocational, it's doing incredibly well because people want to know, what do I say to my patient? And when you make that appointment and they show up, one of the things that I heard many, many, many years ago when I was a student at Life, and Dr. Sid talked about, we always have to meet the patient on the level that they come in at. So as we
Mhm.
both know, most patients are coming in because they're experiencing symptoms of one type or another. So in
Mhm.
this book, what we talk about is, we go ahead, it's called a new patient orientation. We need 1 hour with this person. We're not adjusting them on the first visit. We're not taking
Mhm.
x-rays. We don't take x-rays in this type of care because, you know, we don't judge people that take x-rays. We don't say it's bad to take x-rays. We just have a different analysis in Reggie's work. And it's a 1 hour orientation, and it's recommended that the spouse comes with, because typically if the spouse isn't there in that hour, what's going to happen is the new patient's going to not commit, because we want them to commit on that visit to care. It's incredibly affordable for the whole family. And it's hard for the new person to come in, hear all of this great stuff, and then say, I can't commit to this because I have to go home and speak to my wife or to my husband or to my partner. So when they're there, we have our pen and paper and we ask them, what's going on? What's bringing you in? And they share everything that they have going on. And we say to them, are you sure that that's all you have? I want to make sure I understand every single complaint, every condition, everything that's going on with you. Well, I do have headaches, right? Okay, I write that down. We write everything down, and then
Mhm.
we say to them, now I'm going to go ahead and put this list of everything that's going on with you off to the side here. And I turn it over and I say that this is the last time we're going to talk about these symptoms that you have here in this office. Now I want to go ahead and find out more about you and what you do for a living. What are your interests? What are your hobbies? Because we need to get from them. Are they a golfer? Are they a tennis player? Do they play pickleball? Do they have 6 kids and take care of the kids all week? What do they spend their time doing? Because as you and I both know, chiropractic is all about performance.
Right.
You're better off without interference in the nervous system than with it there. And when it's removed, you're going to start performing better on many levels. So we relate this type of chiropractic, Reggie's chiropractic, to increase performance. And we relate it back to those areas in their life that they spend time in, right? So if they're a golfer, if they drive a golf ball for a living, or they drive a school bus, chiropractic's going to benefit them in some way. Oftentimes it's not measurable, but they will see results over time. So we explain to them how chiropractic works in this office. We talk to them about the vertebral subluxation, about the spine, and about how that all works.
David, I have a question. So I just want to make sure, I love this is amazing. This is like This is total gold. I hope you guys are taking notes out there. So when you call the day, so it's their day one, their initial visit in the office, you call it a new patient orientation.
Correct.
And is that just the one person and their spouse, or are there a couple of other people together like a workshop?
That's such an amazing question because the answer is no. It's just a 1 hour visit at designated times during the week. It's the new patient orientation with the new person and their spouse. And Reggie was so stubborn. He said, if your spouse cannot make it, I will not be able to see you. Because then they won't be able to commit to care. So on that first visit, his aim and our aim is to sign up that husband and wife for lifetime family maintenance chiropractic care. And we are explaining to them exactly what chiropractic is and what it is not. And after we put all their symptoms that we wrote down that they said that they have, we put all those off to the side and explain what chiropractic is and hear about their life and what they enjoy doing. And we go into the nervous system and performance and how chiropractic helps. And we talk about the nerve channels and how there's a good chance that what they have going on, they have nerve channels that are closed off in those particular areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we tell them that if we go ahead and open up those nerve channels in these areas that we find that they're closed, and we find other nerve channels that are closed in areas that you don't have symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
do you want us to leave those channels closed, the ones that we found where you're not having symptoms? Or do you want us to open up all the nerve channels so you could be at your best levels of function and performance? And then sometimes the spouse says, well, I get these excruciating migraine headaches. Do you think chiropractic can help me with that? Well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is you're better off without the interference in the nervous system. Let's see if you have that. And then we palpate their spines if they agree. And when we find those channels that are closed, and I said, well, you have channels in your low back that are closed off. And you see those channels of those nerves go to the reproductive organs and, where you make babies. And they say, oh, we've been trying to get pregnant. And we've never been able to conceive. Do you think chiropractic, you think you can help me get pregnant? I said, I can't. Your husband here can, right? Let's look at opening up the nerve channels and see what your body's capable of. Right now, it's not at its best levels of performance. So we have that new patient orientation. And after they really start understanding how the body works, how the nervous system works, and Reggie's letter N, his chemistry of life, and how the whole body's run off of chemistry and hormones and the glands that produce the hormones and the nervous system that controls all that production. Reggie said there's one of two conditions that a person has, and it's explained in the book, Starting Chiropractic Practice, and that one of two conditions are known as either too much or too little. The glands are producing either too many hormones or too little because the nervous system is imbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
So once they start up under care and they start seeing results, what we do have is called Chiropractic Night. That's where the groups are coming that you talked.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's new patients are coming. They're required to come once.
Okay.
And they're required to bring a non-patient friend or family member with them, not one of their kids, because they're already required to.
Yeah.
So there's that chiropractic night, and then there's also Wednesday night Q&A night. It's just
Wednesday workshop.
it's mind-boggling what's in this book. There's chiropractors, or it's just been out for 3 weeks. There's chiropractors around the world that are reporting back. Oh my God, I feel like Reggie's talking to me again.
Yeah. Man, I have so much to say about everything that you said. Of course I do. Because I never shut up. So I love it. It's as you know, like we also, Thrive Chiropractic Coaching, that's specifically what we do as well, is we walk people through the steps of opening a practice. And our systems look different than what you guys teach, but the philosophy and the mindset is all the same. And a couple of things that I want to go back to, David, because it's so important, and I feel like you have so many good nuggets that I don't want people to miss this stuff. But one of the things that's really important in this whole in the whole big picture of creating a lifestyle or lifelong lifestyle wellness practice is bringing the spouse into the arena with us. That's so important. And a lot of people have trouble getting the spouse to come back to the day one or the day two, whatever your system looks like. And I think one of the reasons why um, people have trouble getting the spouse back is because the mindset, especially in today's day and age in 2024, like we don't need our spouse, whether you're a man or a woman, you don't need your spouse to make financial decisions. Like we're in 2024. But what we do need is that you have to understand that on that day one, what David is talking about, guys, on that orientation is the patient is going through a mindset transformation. Like the patient is thinking differently about their health when they leave that initial visit, when they leave that 60 minutes with him from when they walked in. And because a husband and a wife or partners are in a relationship, it'd be like one taking a cruise and leaving the other one behind, right? Because both of them together being in a relationship have to have that mindset shift, because it truly is they truly do have the desire to live a different lifestyle after leaving that meeting. I can guarantee it. I can't tell you exactly what is said in that meeting beyond what David told us today, but I will guarantee that husband and that wife, they leave different leaving his office on the day one than they did walking into his office on the day one. So that's why it's so important that spouses be involved in patient care and families are involved in patient care. I just wanted to touch on that because I feel like sometimes people get stuck on that. People get stuck. I don't want to ask the spouse to have to come. People are busy. They don't want to do this. Like, yeah, people do want to do this. People do want this for their family. They may not know it yet when they make that first initial phone call, but they do, right? They want that shift and that leadership.
They do, and the one spouse that's wanting to make that appointment, that makes the appointment, when they hear your spouse has to be with you on that first visit, new patient orientation, well, why do they have to be there with me? The simple answer that we give, and it's based on Reggie's principles, and it's in this book, is because that's the way that it's done in this office.
I love that.
And what happens a lot of the time, yeah, I love it too. It's
So
simple.
simple.
It's so simple. That's the way that it's done in this office. And we're setting boundaries, very healthy boundaries. And if you don't want that, and chiropractors have a hard time with this, then I have 6 or 7 other offices up the street that don't require the spouse to come, and they'll treat the symptoms that you have. The way we operate in this office is different. And that's the way that it's done in this office. And I also want to say that we have a system where it's a one fee system for the whole year. And it was based upon the cost of diapers for a newborn baby for a year, which is
Oh, wow.
$1,500 a year for diapers.
Interesting.
And if they commit to bringing 2 non-existing patients to chiropractic night, we reduce the 1,500 to 1,200, and they pay that whole thing right there in that first visit. And that's it, 1,200 for the entire year. Now, what ends up happening is out of, now you have to be really strong and a great salesperson in chiropractic, because the patients will take over and they'll start dictating their own care and when they want to come in and when they're not going to come back, and why do I have to bring my spouse? Well, this is the way it's all done in this office. The patients are going to start going out into the community and working for the chiropractors and start bringing new patients into their office, because that chiropractor is so convicted in
Mhm.
their methods and their procedures and in their fortitude and their confidence. Not only does it come out of who they are as a chiropractor, but it also translates into their skills, into their adjusting techniques, into their prowess as a chiropractor. And as you've heard also before, people want to be around other people that are real, that have something special. And Reggie had that, Sigafus had that, and this is
Mhm.
Chiropractic Revealed. I mean, Donnie Epstein and Jeannie Ohm, who's passed away, and you know,
Mhm.
um, Terry Romberg that had the Chiropractic Journal and Chiropractic First Book, and Pasquale Sarasoli, and all of us, man, we're renegades, we're rebels, and we have to act that way in our practice. That's how we're getting from the winter season to the spring season, is chiropractors stepping up, recognizing their greatness and their magnificence, and not subordinating to their patients and stepping on the shoulders. DeMartini talked about this a long time ago, stepping on the shoulders, standing on the shoulders of all the greats that came before us. Those people aren't coming back to save the profession.
Yeah.
Chiropractic doesn't need to be saved. We just need to step out and lead in front of the stage and be willing to step on the edge of that cliff and jump off and know that the universe is going to support us underneath our arms with the amount of air that we need to be able to fly.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. One of the first things, talking about standing on shoulders of our giants, um, one of the things that we is a part of our like core curriculum in our coaching program is they have to go back and they watch philosophy YouTube videos of Reggie Gold, Jim Sigafus, and you were talking about chemistry of life. One of the best guys, write this down. Chemistry of life. You need to watch it. It's
100%. So
right on YouTube.
I know you said we only have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
So this one came out, The 8 Laws of Chiropractic Success, in 2018. It's all the same people that are in Chiropractic Revealed,
Mm-hmm.
revealing all their success principles. This is all about the promise of chiropractic and
Okay.
what can students do? What can chiropractors do to have unbridled success? All these people are in this 8 Laws of Chiropractic Success, same people with a whole nother layer of people on top of them, like Billy DeMoss and Brad Glowacki and Paul Reed and um, Kathy Wendland Kobe and Jessica Harden and Claudia Onrig and all these great people. But yeah,
That was did you write, is that a book you wrote too, David?
yeah. So the 8 Laws of Chiropractic Success, and Wayne Dyer wrote the
I was
fall.
gonna say. I was
Yeah,
gonna say, did I not see that? That's amazing.
yeah. Wayne Dyer. I interviewed him when I was a student at Life. I wrote for the school newspaper. It was called Elan Vital, and I interviewed Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra. I was just interviewing all these great people, and all of the questions that I asked Wayne Dyer back in 1995 for that interview fit perfectly as the forward to this book. So we have that in there, and I highly encourage students and chiropractors to read what he has to say about chiropractic in this book. So the 8 Laws of Chiropractic Success, Chiropractic Revealed, and the new one that just came out 3 weeks ago, and it's #1 bestseller in vocational education and on Amazon, is
That's amazing.
starting chiropractic practice based on Reggie Gold's nuggets.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely going to be reading that book for sure. I'm kind of curious. Um, I'm super curious how our coaching aligns with what's in that book.
Yeah.
Because I only know what I know, and I learned what I know from, going to seminars, Reggie and Sigafus and all the greats, right? So I'm really curious to see that, and I'm also really curious to see like, did it morph or did it change, or how how steadfast is, like a lot of times I hear chiropractors say like, oh, that's old or that's outdated, or like the old geezers did that, but I'm a firm believer of like, why change what worked, man? That was what worked. That's what grew chiropractic grassroots. And I can't wait to read the book, man. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. 100%. One thing I'll say about what you just shared, which is so true, is that it's 2024. And if Reggie was still here and Sigafus and they were out and doing all their stuff, they'd say, use this thing, use the cell phone. You know how you get texts right now? It's from politicians and vote for this. And like, use the cell phone and get to the patients once a week through a text, and send them a weekly tidbit about this or about that. Use the technology. One of the things Reggie was not in favor of was advertising in the yellow pages, because people are looking up chiropractors in the yellow pages to get their pain fixed.
Mhm.
It's the same thing today with Facebook. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but just know that the people that are going to look to come in off of putting an ad out somewhere are people that are looking to have their pain removed. And if you can't help them get rid of that pain, they're gone. And if you help them get rid of the pain, they're gone.
Yeah.
Help,
Yeah. True.
help them with the thing that's always in there, the innate intelligence.
Yeah.
We talk about how we don't want to don't talk to the patients about innate intelligence, because they're not going to get that. We just relate back to them the things that they love doing with their life and how chiropractic can help them perform better on every level, and keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
What'd you just call me?
Keep it simple, stupid.
That's right. Thanks for having me on. It's so much fun.
You are so welcome. It's my pleasure. This half hour went by super, super fast, David. We'll pick a time if it's okay with you at some point for you to come back on, do another Wednesday workshop with us, because you shared a lot of golden nuggets. I hope you guys were taking notes out there. And I'm gonna actually do that this week. I'm gonna implement I don't know, probably a monthly text message to my patient base
Yeah.
in chiropractic.
Oh,
So I'm stealing that. That's for sure.
and put this in there. Say to them, silence is not golden when it comes to sharing chiropractic with those you love. Who have you referred lately? They're not thinking about referring, they're thinking about what's going on in their life. When
Mhm.
you start helping them help you by changing their mindset about referring, practices will double and triple just by
Mhm.
you asking your patient
Yeah,
to refer.
it's so true. It's so true. People say, how do you get people to refer to your practice? I say, I ask. It's keep it simple, stupid.
That's right. Well, thanks, Nicole. I hope to see you
All
again.
right. All right. Appreciate you. All right, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.